It's Sunday morning, it's race week, we got a lot to do. Workout's finally done, let's get into Well, 2023 is going to start out with a lot. And what do I mean by a lot? Let's dive right into it right now. So this year, we've already got a lot of races signed up, from trail racing to half marathons to even a full marathon, which we will get into later on. And of course, mountain bike racing. Oh yeah, we're gonna throw some triathlons in there because I love doing them and we don't want the bike to get dirty. But we got a lot to get into. We got to get this thing ready for this coming up weekend. So real quick, as most of you know, I was supposed to do a trail race actually this Saturday, yesterday, and unfortunately it was moved to a different day, which is in 2 weeks, so it'll be right in between two mountain bike races. Now, unfortunately, the only reason I say that word is because I was really looking forward to it. And of course, in San Diego, we had a little bit of rain come through, and we all know how that basically works. But I will say the organization made a very smart call to call off the race. Now, I'm only doing the half marathon, which I can get done hopefully in about 2 hours, 15 minutes to 2.5 hours. But you do have 50 milers that are doing the 50-mile race, and that is a all-day into the night event. And of course, for their safety, we're absolutely full support of the organization, and I'll drop the link in the description below. And we thank them for moving that for them and for everybody's safety. So as you guys who follow me on Instagram have already seen, I've partnered up with Full Gas this season for all my indoor cyclery needs that we need for training. Now, I reached out to them, just shot them a whim and said, hey, I have this little YouTube channel. Not a lot of people follow me, but hey, any help would be great. And they stepped up. They absolutely are going to be taking care of me. Now, again, one thing I did promise them is that I will be utilizing them, not putting them in every video. It's not an ad space or ad sell for anybody, but I was just very honest with Stu over there, and they were happy to step up and take care of me. What's really cool too is if you do want to try Full Gas out, there is a 30-day free trial promo code. I'll throw it in the bottom down below for you guys. I have no monetary gains from that whatsoever. It's just something that I asked them if I could give to my supporters. And they said, yeah, here you go. So we have a lot we're gonna dig into this. I will get into the training plan that I have set for this. This is gonna be a really intricate part. If you've never dove into Full Gas, absolutely worth it. If you're doing any Ironman branded events, especially, and one of the big ones that people hit me up on is Ironman Oregon. They asked me about the bike course and so on and so forth and all the different things. What's really cool about Full Gas is I can log into this system. I can go to Ironman 70.3 courses. I can type in Oregon, and the next thing you know, the bike course for Ironman Oregon pulls up. What's really great about that, which I wish I had last year, I can train for what I'm competing in. And for me, I believe that's a big plus. That way you can get down, tuck in the aero bars, and just push through. And it's kind of cool. I've used YouTube for people who have filmed mountain bike courses, and I've come around, you know, different turns or seen different landmarks and be like, oh wow, I remember this on this video, and then oh, there's a big hill coming up, or there's a really fun downhill section. So again, Full Gas, I'll drop a link in the description below. This is a little long-winded to kind of explain what's going on. Of course, we'll keep it a little bit more short. We'll get into what we're doing with them later on, but check them out. So talking about mountain biking and what I'm doing in the series I'm in. This year, again, I'm back with Team Big Bear in their series to race, teambigbear.com, link in the description below. Of course, real simple, current schedule. It's going to have all the different races that are there and what they're doing at those races and the location. So for instance, 1 through 4 is going to be in Temecula at Vail Lake. What's really cool about this place is they constantly have different routes they can change. So it makes the course a little bit different. And then the person who took over, they brought in a bike course builder, and they have made some incredible fun courses, including a short track for BMX, which we go through, and it is really, really fun. The nice thing here, they'll tell you which XC number you're on, marathon series, enduro series, and there is the high school series, which is on there. Then we go up to Big Bear. And then of course, towards the end, we have Gravity Fest, which is at Big Bear. 8 hours at Temecula, which is just a timed event. You can do it by yourself, you can do it with a friend, you can do it in teams of 4, you can do it on a tandem bike. I don't know about that one, but anyways, from there, we jump over to their actual website, clicking on mountain bike. I don't know how to screen record, so bear with me. Going down, if you go to the schedule here, what's really cool is anything that you click on here, these are going to be your registration. So if I click on the XC one, it's going to, you know, take me to that registration page. So if you know, hey, you can't make this one, which I wasn't going to, but you can make the next one, you just click on that guy, it takes you right to the right registration. What's really cool, schedule, XC start time. So if you go into here, all the start times of all the different classes are in there, which I enjoy. And then my favorite part is the Strava course. So every weekend or every race, they're going to attach what the race course profile is and what the race course is. If you've ever raced there before, you can pretty much look at this, know this is the really long hill climb. It's not that hard, it's just really long, but teambigbear.com, give it a poke. If you do want to see the series that I'm racing this year on YouTube, if you put in Ben Goyette, the Canadian who lives in Southern California, who has raced everywhere, Sea Otter Classic, he has raced overseas, and he does great videos. Him and Josh, actually, they'll switch the cams back and forth, and he will post a full race. For instance, the California mountain bike cross country at Big Bear series, 3 hours and 28 minutes. These are the videos that I use to train. Ben, awesome job, was a huge help. I'll drop a link to his site down below. He has a lot of great things. In fact, he used to do live commentary. Ben, you need to get back to it. We absolutely enjoyed that, but check this guy out. Just a short little plug. Now, like I said in previous videos, it is mountain bike season. And what does that mean? That means mountain bike racing. In fact, last year I got that many races in, and I am absolutely bummed. My bike grew cobwebs, but we have a lot to do to get this thing back in tip-top shape. Now, we could always take it to the bike shop. The Cyclery Bike Shop does take care of me when I need these type of services, but I figured kind of better to do it ourselves, and it's a rainy Saturday, so why not tear into the bike? So with tubeless tires, one of the big things you have to be careful of, especially if you haven't ridden your bike in a while, is the fact that you are out of the sealant. You don't want to get into a race and all of a sudden you're like, wait, I don't have any sealant. That's a bad day. So we're going to go ahead and get these valve stems opened up. We're going to get things cleaned out and then put some fresh sealant in these guys. So I do use Stan's sealant. I've been using this forever. I know there's a ton of different ones out there and people argue which one's the best. To be honest with you, this one has worked, hasn't let me down, so we just continue to use this. When you're refilling it though, make sure you shake the crap out of this thing, get it all back to its form, make sure everything's mixed in real well. And then the easiest way that I find to fill this up, obviously remove the valve stem, get all the air out, but go on Amazon, pick up one of these little guys, fill it up to, I'm a 4-ounce kind of guy, so fill it up to 4 ounces, stick that right on down, give it a little injection. You're good to go. Real simple, real easy. Let's dive into it. And it's really that simple. I did 3 ounces in this one just because I want to try something a little bit different, but that's just my preference on there. 4 ounces is a lot, but for mountain biking, it's recommended. You can get the little 2-ounce tubes, which a lot of people like to just use one of these guys. And here, I kind of base it based off of where you're racing, conditions where you're racing. Let me get to the other one, and then we got to get to cleaning the gears and getting all the stuff off. So let's get to it. So just a quick note when you guys are doing tubeless tires, putting stuff in. I know a lot of people like to stay at the back of the bike, got it right, and then get everything done and then move to the front of the bike, which I've been guilty of. But the one instance that you don't is when you are inserting sealant into your tires, especially when you're using a tool like this. What I recommend doing is go ahead and doing this process quickly, front and back, and then immediately when you're done, take this over to the sink, fill it full of water a few times, squirt it out because it is a sealant. And even though these are only $10 to $13, I mean, why buy a bunch? I've had this thing for 4 years, and basically since I started mountain bike racing, and there's no reason to need to buy another one, just an extra 30 seconds. That's all. When you put your valve stem back on, filled it up with air to whatever your desired PSI is. I run about 26 to 28, depending on where I'm at. Just sit here, give it a few spins. We'll get that to work around. One of the big things, especially if you have bike tires that are sitting for a while, these will pull up in an area and it'll actually just create a little bit of weight here. It's not much, but it's just something. But give it a spin, get everything lubed up, especially since you took all the air out of it. Real easy. So one of the big things is a lot of the grease and stuff sitting on the bike. A little bit of maintenance, a little bit of dirty work will make this chain last a lot longer. Basically, the whole drivetrain will last a lot longer. I like the WD-40 bike degreaser product. Real simple, spray it on. I use a little thing, scrubs it off, and gets everything off. A lot of people don't like to use stuff like this, or a lot of people have their methods. Whatever your method is, great. If it works for you, awesome sauce. This has worked for me for years, and I've never had a problem with any of my drivetrains. So yeah, let's get to it. All right, before you put your through axle in on your bike, just a recommendation, a little bit of lube. I put a little bit of the white grease on there. This works awesome. I've been using it for years. Sometimes I overdo it. I really don't care, but it just keeps it, you know, free of debris, keeps out, and it keeps spinning nice and smooth. Never had an issue. Everything's back, really not that hard to do, nice and simple. Absolutely recommended, especially if you're gonna be getting dirty. Now, before you jump on this bike, ride it, check everything out, you gotta lube the chain. And with this in particular, if you don't, you're gonna have some major issues. Different types of lubes that are out there, personal preference, I believe they're pretty close to the same, but one of the big things to look out for, wet and dry lube. Like I said before in other videos, the trick to getting squeaky brakes to typically go away, especially grinding dirt and debris, you never want to touch the rotor on there, get oil on there, really makes an issue. Alcohol wipes, CVS, Amazon, whatever works best for you. I use one per, give them a good cleaning. The alcohol dissipates really quickly, makes everything clean, safer, and you can stop. She's all dialed in. We got to get her down, take her for a quick spin around the block, just to see if there's anything else we need to make changes to. Other than that, I think she's pretty well good to go. Let's go have some fun. Now that the bike is up and squared away, basically we're gonna get it back out this week. We're gonna do some hill climbs, just get out there, climb the hills, keep the legs pumping, and make sure everything is tiled in. The day of the race, I typically pull the wheels off. I make sure everything's greased up, and that way it's just ready to go. I want to thank you guys for watching another episode. We greatly appreciate it. Look forward to 2023. Lots of big changes. First marathon coming in the book, first trail race, and that's next weekend. So of course it is just race week after race week, which I'm absolutely excited for. There are some triathlons that we will get into. Of course, I don't want to say that I'm gonna do this triathlon and I haven't signed up yet for it. It just depends on how it works schedule-wise. But once I do sign up for it, I do put it out there. There'll be a list of all my races that I've so far signed up and paid for down below, so you guys can check those out. Links to those races. Want to thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week. We'll see how the race went. In fact, this is race week, so we got a lot to do. Anyways, yeah, we're off. For another pretty quickly, I don't just start working on the bike at the back. I don't start working on the back of the bike. I'll do both the tube or the tires here, wheels, whatever. We should redo a retake.